Good evening, everyone. My name is Bob Gittins, and it is my great pleasure to welcome all of you to the 2021 Cambridge Family and Children's Services Annual Meeting. Thank you so much for joining us. We are very pleased to be able to bring to you an inside view of what lies behind the work we do. I have the privilege of seeing every day the passion, commitment, and hard work our staff brings to fulfilling the mission of CFCS. We have all faced incredible challenges this past year, from personal challenges to challenges in our own communities, to the incredible events we've seen taking place on the national and world stages. As Doris Kearns Goodwin said of the Franklin Roosevelt era, this has been no ordinary time. But just as America did then, we will work together and we will pull through this to see a better day. I see the seeds of this in the work we do here at CFCS. Despite this difficult year, the dedication and resiliency demonstrated by our staff and clients has been remarkable. As so many others did, we adapted how we deliver our services with a combination of in-person and remote meetings with clients in their homes. But we also went the extra step to ensure that youth in foster care maintain contact with their birth families and establish new and stronger family connections. Our group homes put procedures in place for COVID testing to ensure that staff and residents remain safe. But they also took steps to ensure that our residents were able to continue pursuing their education when schools went remote. And as an agency, we responded to the heightened and long overdue focus on our nation's need to address diversity and equity issues by increasing our understanding of our country's history and the current structural and cultural dynamics that shape the world we live in today. We began taking the steps needed to make change within our organization and beyond. In the end, we will be a stronger, more resilient organization that is better able to serve young people, families, and people with disabilities more effectively. Again, I thank all of you for being here this evening, and even more importantly, for standing with us through the good times and the challenging times. And we trust you'll be here with us in the future as our story continues to unfold. So sit back and relax as we share with you the stories of those who made a real difference in the lives of more than 1,500 people over the past year. Before we dive into the program, there is one other person who wants to greet you. I'd like to turn the camera and microphone over to Ruth Whitney, the President and Chair of the CFCS Board of Directors.
Hello, I'm Ruth Whitney, Chair of the Board of Cambridge Family and Children's Service, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to our second virtual annual meeting. I'd like to give a special welcome to our new board members, Kim Goldstein, Lejeya Kirby, and Sean Murphy. The pandemic has been stressful for all of us, but especially so for our clients, and our staff has just been amazing in responding to their clinical and practical needs. I'd like to give a special shout out to the people who work in our two group homes. If you've been home with a teenager during this time, just imagine what it's like being in lockdown with 6 or 8 young residents. Their patience and creativity has just been amazing. I hope the stories you hear tonight will inspire and move you as much as they do me, and I thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you very much, Ruth. Tonight we have the privilege of hearing from the directors of the 6 programs we run here at CFCS. We'll get to hear each director's reason for why this work is important to her and the impact that she hopes to make on the populations we serve. We'll begin with Susan Rooney, Director of our Adoption Program.
I fell into adoption in 1995 when I saw an ad in the Globe for an adoption social worker's position and applied. I've been in the field ever since, and I'm still amazed at what we get to do every day. We're literally creating families, choosing parents for children, and deciding who they'll be connected to for the rest of their lives. It's both a huge responsibility and a huge privilege. Adoption work isn't easy, and it comes with its share of heartbreak. But seeing children who have experienced some of the worst the world has to offer find new hope with families who are able to take care of them in the ways they need is incredibly rewarding. I still get teary at every adoption finalization I attend, in part because they bring me back to the joy of my own daughter's adoption almost 10 years ago. I feel truly lucky and grateful to have found work that I love so much.
Thank you, Susan. Adoption can be an amazing source of hope and joy for so many children and families. Next, a story about one particular family's joy. We'll hear from Valerie, a foster parent who's excited to adopt Joshua, an amazing young boy whose life began with great medical challenges.
So I'm Valerie Kuth. I am foster mom to a little boy named Joshua. I first met Josh and he was a super tiny little baby. He was premature by I think 4 weeks. He had an NG tube, which is a way to feed him. They did that because they told me in the beginning he was low muscle tone. About 2 weeks into Josh being home, I just noticed that he was taking a lot longer to eat, and it was half as much as normal. And we got to this point where the pediatrician said, I just wish you'd take him to Children's. I wish you'd just have him seen. And she's like, I know you don't want to hear this. And I was like, okay. The long story of all of this, and this is quite the long story, is that Josh entered into Children's in April, and we were there for 6 months. He had 5 total surgeries, and then we were bumped down to a rehab hospital called Franciscan Children's, and we were there for another 6 months. So it was a total of 388 days that he was hospitalized after 5 surgeries. He's so strong. He did like 9-hour surgeries, and then we had the trach surgery, and that was 2 hours, and by far that was the worst recovery I've ever seen him have. There was a couple of times where there were some things that it got dicey. There's definitely times where he was on the brink of not making it, and it was terrifying. And I look back too, and I was looking at all the parents at the NICU, and I was just like, nobody expects this. So it had nothing to do with me being a foster mom, or nobody wants their kid in this position. And so we were all like in this boat, this unreal boat. If somebody had called me and said, will you take a medically challenged child? I'd say, I'm single, there's no way, I don't have the time. Again, perspective. And that's exactly what I got. And it turned out to be the best thing ever. I can't imagine a world without Josh. Fast forward to today, Josh is a very active, healthy 3-year-old. And I say healthy in the sense that for his tracheostomy and his G-tube, he's doing really well, and he's eating more solids, and he's making more developmental milestones. He's just social, super social. So kids will play with toys, and he'll go and hold the kid's hand. Like, that's Josh in a nutshell. They want to do something fun, he wants to give them a hug. I look forward to him even eventually feeling, solid enough to sort of understand his story and, help him figure that out. I really want him to know that his bio parents are important pieces of the story, and that we're all in process. And so that's something that's sort of foundational. And then we talk a lot about just how he grew in his tummy mommy, we call her tummy mommy, and that he has 2 mommies, and that he grew in my heart. I think as he grows older, I'll want to make sure that he knows he grew in her heart too. And I think the story is going to get more complex as he gets older and more able to understand stuff. I also look forward to being able to explore just the world, our relatives that are in different places a little more easily. I just look forward to seeing who Josh is.
Thank you very much, Valerie. What an amazing story of perseverance, hope, and love. Now, we'll hear from Brenda Beaton, Director of our Developmental Disabilities Program, on why she loves the work she and her team accomplished together.
Mark Twain said, "Find a job you enjoy doing and you will never have to work a day in your life." Although I can't say I totally agree with Mr. Twain, devoting my professional life to human services has been more gratifying than I could ever have imagined. It's not always easy, but it's satisfying to know that perhaps I might make a positive impact, no matter how small, on someone's life. The 1990s Americans with Disabilities Act is meant to guarantee that individuals with disabilities have the same opportunities as others. That law codifies what our Developmental Disabilities Program case managers deliver every single day, a path towards self-determination, inclusion, and community integration. Our mission is to ensure that our clients learn to believe in themselves, to develop skills to pursue their dreams, to advocate for themselves and be heard, and to enjoy life to the fullest. We all want these things, and we all deserve them.
Thank you very much, Brenda. What an important mission it is that drives our work with individuals with developmental disabilities and their families. Next, we'll hear from DDP's Family Support Center Coordinator, Sheila Krausett, who'll talk to us about a remarkable young man with autism who is forging a great path for himself.
John is 19 years old and he has a diagnosis of autism. It's affected John's life in many different ways. John, has grown up, it's just been him and his mom and him that live in Cambridge together. His mom has always been very watchful and mindful over John and always has done an amazing job of giving John his independence, but very cautiously to make sure that he has the skills to be able to be out on his own. I first met John and his mom in the fall of 2015. As I've gotten to know John throughout the years, he's still a lot of the same as when he was 12, but he's definitely grown into a very mature young man. One of his mom's concerns is that he would be out in the community, he would see someone fighting or he would see something and he would step in and he would get himself into more trouble. One of the other things with John is money, because he didn't understand, if you and I went to CVS and we purchased something and we knew we should get $2 back, he would just maybe walk away, or he wouldn't know exactly how much change he should get back. John continues to be a client of our Developmental Disabilities Program and the Department of Developmental Services. However, he's under a different contract now, with still providing him supports, but not as intensive. So John just graduated high school this spring, and he plans to attend college in the fall. He contributes to the household rent every month. He's working. John would like to study child development. He would really like to work with kids in the future. So much of this is because of John's hard work and also because of the support from his mom. There never was a time when I worked with John that the idea of going to college wasn't an option. I always got a sense that John, knew that he wanted to go to college and had an idea of what he wanted to focus on. John was very much, he has a diagnosis of autism, but he also was very much your typical teenager growing up. He does have a lot of friends. Prior to his graduation, he planned a trip with his friends out of state. He planned it on his own. He paid for it on his own. He checked in with his mom regularly throughout his time away. But that was the first time he ever traveled out of state without his mom, and paid for it. And that's what he did after he graduated.
Thank you, Sheila. I'm so glad John has made such positive strides with the support of his family and CFCS. It's time for us to celebrate all of our staff who are celebrating milestone anniversaries with CFCS this year. Each annual meeting, we're proud to recognize these staff and their dedication to supporting youth and families in our community. It truly is our staff who make this agency special. Congratulations to Anna, Taylor, Maurice, Katie, Zena, Jeanette, Lorianne, Cheryl, James, Deborah, and Adeline. Thank you all. And a very special congratulations to Kaster on her 25 years with CFCS. There's one more staff anniversary I should mention. This year, I am proud to celebrate 5 years as Executive Director of CFCS. It's been a privilege for me to work with such a wonderful group of dedicated professionals and do all I can to support them as they carry out the mission of CFCS. Now, Nancy Leitz and Tara Young will share with us what they love most about being the Director and Assistant Director, respectively, of our Family Support and Stabilization Program.
Hi, I'm Nancy Leitz.
And I'm Tara Young.
Tara and I lead the Family Support and Stabilization Program together. All of our services are important, but I have a passion for our young adults programs. When I took this role, I brought the independent living program with me because I wanted to make sure I could continue to support the youth and their families in navigating their transition through challenging circumstances, find their strength and passion and natural supports so they feel confident about their future. My second biggest passion is facilitation and leadership, and I'm so excited every day to lead such a collaborative team.
Leading our family support services is truly rewarding to me. There's great honor in being allowed to step into the center of a family's pain and walk them through it. Empowering these families is what drives me. I know firsthand what it feels like not to have anyone advocating for you. The field of social work gives me that opportunity to fight for people when they feel helpless. It allows me to protect those who are fearful and vulnerable and empower them to see hope. I truly love it.
Thank you, Nancy and Tara. The energy and care you bring to your work is amazing. Now we'll hear from Sarah Medrano-Palmer, Director of both our Family Services and Intensive Foster Care programs, on what this work means to her.
After earning my MSW in 2004, I accepted my first job as an adoption social worker. I did not have a personal tie to adoption or foster care. It just sounded interesting to me. I didn't realize how this work would grab a hold of me, or that 17 years later I would still be spending every day doing my best to build and strengthen families and achieve permanency for kids in care. I love the support and safety that foster care offers kids. The work our foster parents do leaves me in awe every day. But the big moments, the moments when we finally get to the goal and a child goes home to birth family or their adoption is finalized, are what really energize me. It's all at once an ending and a beginning. I'm grateful for the privilege of being a small part of those big moments and the countless smaller moments along the way.
Thank you, Sarah. That goal, the ending and beginning, continues to inspire all of us. Next, we'll hear from John and Jamia Cunningham Elder about their experience adopting their 2 daughters with CFCS.
Hi, I'm Jamia Cunningham Elder.
Hi, I'm John,
married to Jamia, and together we have 3 beautiful children.
2 of which were adopted from Massachusetts from foster care, Julia and Jayana, and our 3rd daughter, Jameson, was born in December of 2019.
We drove out to Springfield, Massachusetts, and the first day that we met them, it was a little bit awkward. I think because for me at least, I didn't really know what to expect. We had a previous meeting and got to learn a little bit about them, but that meeting for the first time was completely different. They were a bundle of energy. I do remember that.
One of our first visits, Julia asked if we would if she could stay with us forever and if she could call us mommy and daddy. And we were like, yes. Sure. We met the girls. Jayana was 3, Julia was 7. They had not actually been living together. They had only lived together for a couple of months. They were actually separated in different foster homes. Our hope is that they grow up to love and support one another as sisters for the rest of their lives. And I think we're cultivating that pretty strongly through our family.
When I think about Jamia and John's adoption experience, I found their adoption finalization to be one of the most touching finalizations that I've had the privilege to attend. Honestly, it was beautiful. And I think that John and Jamia's ability to honor the girl's birth mom was really pretty unique and pretty extraordinary.
She was right there with us. She was in the room. We were on Zoom. She was invited to the adoption. And it's one thing to make a mistake. Everybody can make a mistake and make poor choices. It's another thing to admit that you did it and try to live with integrity, even with your mistakes. And so we think that she's a good example and a good kind of mentor for them as far as they will have her. It's really nice that the girls get to show her their awards and the things they've done in school, and she gets to cheer them on and be proud of them for these things they've accomplished when she knows that that's the life that she wanted for them.
Thank you, John and Jamia, for sharing your family's heartwarming story with us today. We're very excited for what the future has in store for all of you. I'm excited to introduce our next segment, the Vivian Campbell Foster Parent of the Year Award. Each year, we recognize a CFCS foster parent or family who demonstrates exemplary skills in supporting, encouraging, and caring for youth in their homes.
In foster care, children can feel as though they are searching for a place to call home, a place to belong. Foster families answer this call by opening their homes and hearts to care for the most vulnerable youth in our state. Foster families are ordinary families who choose to do something extraordinary. Most of their days are messy, beautiful, and heartbreaking, full of joy, laughter, and tears. Good foster parents not only love the children they care for, they love the families those children come from. In that spirit, each year, CFCS recognizes a foster parent with the Vivian Campbell Award for their exemplary dedication and devotion as a caregiver. The Vivian Campbell Award was established in honor of the memory of beloved foster parent Vivian Campbell, who was a foster parent with CFCS for 20 years before her death in 2015. Winners of this award go above and beyond for every youth who stays with them while in foster care. They make youth in foster care feel welcomed, supported, and good about themselves. Their foster homes are consistently stable, nurturing environments for the youth they care for. This year, the award goes to Finita Grubbs, who has been a foster mother with CFCS for 10 years. It's hard to choose just one moment when Finita went above and beyond for a youth. She has impacted so many children in her 10 years as a foster parent. The children in Finita's home not only feel safe in her care, but they also feel deeply connected to Finita and her family. Finita is committed to showing up for the youth she fosters and being an active part of their and their families' lives whenever appropriate. Finita has opened her home to siblings of youth in her care, sometimes with very little notice. Whenever possible, she gives siblings in foster care time and space to be together in a stable, supportive environment. And Finita is always open to collaborating with CFCS's social workers on ways to engage the youth in her home in their community. Whether it's an after-school programming at the YMCA, weekend basketball clinics, or Sibling Connections summer camp, Finita is an advocate for the children in her home having meaningful experiences. Working with Finita these past 10 years has been a joy, and we hope to continue working with her for a long time. She is well deserving of this award. Congratulations, Finita.
Congratulations to Finita. Now, Randy Souza will share with us what inspires her in her work as director of Putnam Place, our group home for young men ages 16 through 21.
When I was a teenager, I was violently assaulted by a group of teen boys I thought were my friends. It took me years to understand the whys to it all. Teenage boys need strong, confident women in their lives that are able to show them what healthy and happy relationships are about. I also love to experience new experiences from the perspectives of the residents of Putnam Place. We give them the opportunity to do things they may never get the chance to do. We teach them skills they may never have gotten the chance to learn. Each youth teaches me something I would have never known. They are all part of my life in some way. I look forward to every youth I get to meet and want to nourish their lives with experiences and love. Each deserve it.
Thank you, Randy, for sharing your story with us. We are very lucky to have someone as strong and insightful as you on our team. Next, our Director of Clinical Services, Kim Stasny, will share the story of another strong person. T is a young man working hard towards his future while he lives at Putnam Place.
So who T is currently is a young man of 20 years old who keeps to himself a lot at Putnam Place. He mostly is studious, going to school when it's the academic year, going to work even during the academic year, but certainly during the summers. He would like to be a doctor someday. So right now he's clearly focused on completing his high school. He's got one more year to go and he will go to college. He's already thinking about where he'd go to college and what he will major in. So T is from Eritrea originally, and he traveled throughout a number of countries in order to get to a safe enough place to be then considered an unaccompanied refugee minor. He describes trying to leave his home country out of being pulled into the Army. Very few people get to go to a university or college there. It's a lottery system, he said. And he said he knew he wasn't going to be chosen and they were going to force him into the Army. Since he came in not speaking much English at all, in a very, very thin state. He actually looked probably 14 years old at the time, and he was turning 18 within days, so he did not look his age. And we set him up with school, we set him up with finding a church that fits his needs. He eventually gets his work authorization papers. And we just envelop him with some support and emotional safety concerns, thinking he's coming from such a traumatic experience. He's a victim of torture in his travels, so definitely helping him feel safe. And how he transpired into this very confident young man who speaks English fluently. He has a strong accent and he speaks quietly, but he's incredibly clear about his goals and what he wants. He gets A's, I think strictly A's in school now. He's turned into a thin kind of very, what appeared to be fearful person to confident and appears strong in multiple ways. So it's really beautiful to see. He is inspirational to me. When he shared his story with me, him opening up just, opened me up even further. I love this work intensely, but when you hear the immensity of the horror and the courage that he needed to go through and willingly go through, and now the resiliency that he has to be able to just refocus and be, a high school student. And at 20 years old, right, he's going into his senior year, so he's letting all that other stuff fall away to be like, this is what life is about for him. It just shifts my perspective of what we're doing here on earth, you know. And he represents all of our Putnam youth, you know, all of our residential youth, because of their resiliency and courage that isn't seen from the outside. He just looks like this quiet youth kind of paying attention to his own life, when in fact he's one of the most courageous people that's walking the earth. And I think that is true of a lot of our residents who can be seen as, you know, not doing enough in the world, and or doing some harm in the world, when in fact they're just to get up every day and move forward with their goals is something we should be rewarding them for.
Thank you, Kim. The resiliency and dedication of the residents at our group homes is truly inspiring to me. Last, but certainly not least, Carla Paul will share with us what she loves about being the director of Teens Learning Choices, our group home for young women ages 16 to 21.
I feel strongly about the work I do because I simply enjoy what I do. At TLC, I supervise counselors, ensure the safety and cleanliness of the facility, and empower our residents and counselors to be a part of our program's decision-making. Knowing when to implement new strategies while never diverting from the mission is a big part of the work that we do. Collaborating with my colleagues and seeing everyone around me reach their goals puts a smile on my face. There are some rough times, but it wouldn't be fun without challenges. Hearing success stories is amazing, but seeing success in real time does something to your heart. This job takes a lot of courage. Seeing how you respond in moments of crisis, change, loss, or the unknown is hard for many people to do. It's a learning process. We create change here at TLC, but the change this job creates in us is just as important.
Thank you very much, Carla. It has been amazing to watch TLC change and grow into the wonderful place it is today under your leadership. For our final program presentation of the evening, we have a special treat. Becky, a resident at Teens Learning Choices, came to America as an unaccompanied refugee minor in 2019. She recently agreed to an interview to share her story with all of you tonight.
My name is Brooktide Gabrihiwat. A lot of people call me Becky, and I was born in Ethiopia. It was really hard because, first of all, I didn't get a chance to go to school. My mom used to say, "Why do you want to go to school? If you go to school and not go to school, you're the same person." She never thought I would change, you know? So, yeah, and I never felt safe. I was almost 16, yeah. I came on November 13, 2018. I came here by myself. It was scary and lonely and confused because I don't know where I'm going. I know that it's called America, but like where and who is gonna be there. Some people are afraid to speak English because they think that they will be called like not smart or something, but I don't care. I will speak. If I get it right, then I get it. If I didn't, then people will correct me. That's what I think. I don't know how to explain it because it's just like really hard. At the time, I really hated to be in TLC. Like I was really angry person, sad, depressed, because I was scared that these people would hurt me, you know? I didn't want to come here. When I always used to fight them, and then I used to tell them, "Are you trying to kill me?" That's all I used to say to them. Yeah, but after Mari, especially Mari, changed my life. Because of her, I'm here right now. I'm not angry person anymore. Sometimes I just like think and I'll be like, is that me? I have really changed a lot, so much. I used to always cry and fight with people, but always Mari used to say like, "Hey B, can I talk to you?" And I'd be like, "No." And then she'd be like, "No, I gotta talk to you." And I'd be like, "No." And she'd be like, "I got fidgets that you can play with your hands." And so I'd be like, okay. And I just talked to her, and then she asked me how I'm feeling, and like She asked me like everything, how I feel, and then I tell her, and then she just helped me with it. I'm gonna tell you a short history about me. In 9th grade, I got D+ in my math. I wasn't upset because I wasn't doing the works because I don't understand the English what they were saying. And then in 10th grade I became better. 11th grade I got a word. I got a word because all of my classes I got A+. All of them were like English, history, physics, math, all of them. My mind is all over the place because I want to do culinary school, jewelry school, or astronomy, or like do designing. I have a lot, so I don't know what to choose because I love all of them. So I don't know yet.
Thank you, Becky. I want to recognize your efforts and your bravery in being so honest with us tonight. You are a remarkable young woman, and I can't wait to see what you do in the future. I'd like to thank all of our program directors, staff, and clients who presented tonight. They did a wonderful job bringing to life the stories of our work over this past year. To close tonight, let me again thank each and every one of you for joining us. I also want to extend my thanks and appreciation to the CFCS team that worked so hard to plan and prepare for this evening. And special thanks to Ruth Whitney and the CFCS Board of Directors for all of their support and hard work on behalf of CFCS. Thanks so much again, and I hope all of you have a wonderful evening.